Hello everybody, I'm Dan. Welcome to my Java tutorial series. Throughout my tutorials I will teach you Java using just Notepad and the command prompt. The order in which my tutorials are organized on both my website at javacjava.com and my YouTube playlist is designed to maximize learning by building on concepts from prior tutorials. This tutorial I'll talk about the break statement. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my website here, javacjava.com. Click on the begin button. I'm going to scroll way down here to the break statement tutorial. So the break statement can only be used inside of the following control flow statements: switch, for, while, and do while. Now in my switch statement tutorial, we learned that break is used to terminate fall through on case statements. There are two types of break statements, unlabeled and labeled. The unlabeled break statement terminates loop iterations for the looping block it is located inside of. So this is basically the structure of the for loop here. You know, you get your initialization, your termination, your ordinary termination, and then your increment. So if we just highlight this code here and we ignore it. So basically your statements are executed as long as the termination expression is equal to true, right? So that'll keep going up there. But if we want to break out of that prior for some whatever reason, some sort of condition is met, right? We can put the conditional test in here and call the break. When the break is called, it will terminate the code block for the looping for here. So after the unlabeled break, code resumes right here. Now what can we do if we have nested loops and we want a conditional test inside of an inner loop to terminate the outer loop as well? We can use the labeled break statement. The first step of using a labeled break statement is to make a label followed by a colon. The label must be located directly before the block of code that it is labeling. When the break statement is called, it must have the label name after the keyword break, but before the semicolon. Code execution will resume directly after the end of the code block. Okay, so if we highlight this portion of it right here, first of all, we got our label above this for statement right here, which is this code block right there, right? And label and then a colon. Okay. Now we've got this is our outer for statement, and it will loop and loop and loop until the normal termination clause evaluates to false. Right up here, termination section, expression, I should say. Now we've got a nested loop here, an inner for loop here, and it's perfectly normal too as well, right? Now if we want it to break out of not only this for loop right here, right, but we want it to break out of all the for loops and then continue on right down here, we can call break and then plus the label name, right? And so that will tell it to go ahead and let's break on this label, and this label has labeled this code block for this for statement right here, and it'll go ahead and terminate not only this loop here, but this loop as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and do some little examples here for some example code. We'll come down here, highlight this, hit Control-C, or right-click and select copy. Let's go ahead and get the browser off screen here. Let's go down to Start Search, type in CMD. OK on that, and now we'll type in Java C first thing. And you should see a bunch of stuff scroll by on your screen. If you don't, then you don't have the Java compiler or the Java development kit installed properly. Go ahead and watch my tutorial on installing a Java development kit. Make sure you get that installed and configured properly. Let's go and type in CLS for clearing the screen, CD space /. CD is short for change directory, / tells it to go to the root. MD is make directory. We're going to make a Java folder here. I already have it, but if I didn't, it would have created it for me. We'll change directories to the Java folder, and now we'll do a make directory, and we're just going to call this break statement. We'll change directories to the break statement folder, and then we'll do notepad break statement.java. Okay, we'll hit Control-V to paste, or right-click and select paste. And let's go ahead and save this here. So initially, right off the bat, I'm declaring and initializing a string array, and here's its values. A bunch of ducks and the goose right in the middle of it there, okay? Now, I'm going to use a simple for a regular for loop there, not the enhanced one there, to read through this string array. And we're just basically going to initialize the variable I equal to 0, and we're going to read through the string array based on its length here, right? And we'll keep adding 1 to I through each iteration of the for loop. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and display it here. And then right here is what I've added in. So we're going to do a conditional test here. And we're going to see if the string array at element I equals goose. If it does, then we'll go ahead and print a new line and we'll break. And the break will resume execution right here and say game over and then print a new line. Okay? So that's an example of using just an unlabeled break statement. Next thing we're going to do is build a number ladder. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and save this and run it before I talk about the next section of code. Let's clear up our screen, type in Java C, break statement. We'll go ahead and run this here. Okay, so it comes in duck, 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 goose, right? And once we hit goose, it goes ahead and breaks out and prints game over. So here's what we've got for a number ladder, right? That's what I'm talking about for a number ladder. So here's the code to do that. I've set initializing a variable called max number equal to 5. So we could change this on the fly here. And I've created a label called myLabel. And here's our nested for statement. So on our outer for, we've just got x equals to 1. And it's going to keep looping forever because we've set the termination statement there just equal to true, right? It'll keep adding one to that there, okay? So basically, now in our inner for statement, our nested for, what we're going to do there is we're going to start off printing 1, right? And as long as y is less than or equal to x, it'll keep printing it up. So x will keep incrementing through each iteration on the outer loop, and then the inner loop will basically sit there and display all the numbers for what the outer loop is up to. So on the first loop, right, it'll just display 1, right? And then it will go ahead and print off a new line right down here. And then it'll come down to the next time. Now x is equal to 2 on the next round here, right? So we come into the inner loop, and we're each iteration it redeclares the y, right? And reinitializes y equal to 1, and now y is less than or equal to 2 on this round. It'll go ahead and print off the value of y. So it'll start off at 1, it'll print 1 space, and then 2, right? And then it's now greater than x, so it'll allow x to go ahead and keep building. And so basically what we want to do is we want this little conditional statement in here to say, okay, when do we want our number ladder to end, right? And so our number ladder will end when x is greater than the max number, right? And max number we've set equal to 5. Then it will break to myLabel. And myLabel is right here, and myLabel is labeling this particular code block here for the for statement, right? And so then it will just go ahead and go call the print line method with the string literal program is over, and that's where the program will end. So let's go ahead and change this value to, for example, something like 14, right? And we'll save this, clear our screen, recompile it, rerun it, right? And you can see we can just build our number ladder kind of on the fly there based on whatever we specify for this max number integer variable there. And it will always break out to when it hits this, when this condition is met, it'll break to myLabel. It won't just break out of this inner for loop, it'll break out of this for loop as well too. Okay. So let's just go ahead and change this one more time. We'll change that to like 20. Recompile it, rerun it, bada bing, bada bing. So you can see it's, just how that works there on that. So that's pretty much all there is to the break statement, the unlabeled break, and then the labeled break. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of this, close out of that. That concludes this tutorial. Thanks for watching.